We're going to find volume of spheres, cones, and cylinders, and we're going to do it in the same 3 steps. So every shape has the same 3 steps, pretty much. Alright, so our first question, we're given a sphere. And our first step is to choose a formula. So we need a formula to find the volume of a sphere. If you already know the formula, cool. If not, where could you look? Your formula sheet. So we're looking for volume. We only want to look at this section right here. We're looking for the volume of a sphere, so that's our formula. Okay, step 2. We have a formula, we need to use it, so we have to find the values of the variables. That is, what letters do we need to replace? So in this formula, the only letter we need to replace is R. What does R represent? R is the radius. It looks like they might have given us the radius, but actually they didn't. They gave us the diameter. So if you're given a diameter, how do you find the radius? Well, you can tell from the picture that a radius is half a diameter. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the diameter, we're going to take half of it, we're going to divide it by 2, and that's going to give us our radius. So half of 14, that's 7. So we're done with step 2. Step 3. So we've chosen our formula, we found the letters that we need to replace, and now it's time to do it. We're going to replace the letters, we're going to plug in. Alright, so our volume is, it tells us 4/3. Let's see, we still have pi, and instead of putting R, we're going to use our 7 that we found, and don't forget to cube it. Alright, now it's time to plug it into your calculator. So we have 4 divided by 3, that's the same thing as 4/3. We need pi, then times 7, and to cube it, I'm going to use this up arrow. So there we go. Alright, since that number is greater than 5, I'm going to round up. So our answer is 1,437. But don't forget, this is volume, so we're going to use our unit, which is inches, and we're going to cube it. So volume is always our unit cubed. And that's it. Those are the 3 steps. So now we're going to do another problem, but it's going to have the same steps. Alright, so what was the first step? Do you remember? We need to choose a formula. Okay, so let's see. Here's our formula sheet. Tell me, which formula should we be using? Alright, if you read the problem, it tells us that this container is shaped like a cylinder. Also, it has a picture of a cylinder. So we're only looking at this top row where it says prism or cylinder. Alright, so there's our formula. We're done with the first step. Step 2, what was that? Do you remember what we do for step 2? We have to find the values of our variables, right? We have a formula, so now we need to use these letters and plug in. So we got B and we have H. Okay, so this B, what does that represent? Well, whenever you have a capital letter, notice this one's capital and this one's lowercase, that actually really matters. So capital tells you that you're not going to find it in the diagram. You have to do more work. So this actually has its own formula. B, what does it represent? It represents an area. The area of what? Well, the area of the base. So in this case, the area of the base is a circle. So we need to find the area of a circle. What's the formula for an area of a circle? If you already know, you should, but that's good. If you freak out and forget, don't worry, because the same formula sheet can tell you that too. But this time we're not looking for a volume, we're looking for an area. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So that's what we have to fill in. Alright, so this is telling us we need to replace r. What does r represent again? Just like before, r is the radius. So let's see, did they give us the radius? No, of course not, jerks. Okay, so we have to do some work. We have the diameter. How do we find the radius? Well, the radius is half the diameter, so we have to take half the diameter. What's half of 12? 6. Alright, so now we're ready to plug into this formula here. We have pi. Instead of r, we're going to put 6. Don't forget to square it. So what is the area? You should try putting in your calculator. What are you going to get? You should get roughly 113. Okay. Thankfully, the next one is lowercase. So h we should be able to find in the diagram. What does h represent? It's the height. So what is the height of this cylinder? It's 9. So remember, the height is the distance between the bases. So there we go, we have 9. And that's all the letters we needed to find. We found the value of b, we found the value of h. We're finished with step 2. Step 3, what was that? Well, we have our formula, we have our values. It's time to plug them in. Alright, so volume is, when the letters are just right next to each other, that's telling us we need to multiply them together. So first we're going to take b, and we're going to multiply it with h. And that gives us 1017. Okay, but what am I missing? We're dealing with centimeters, right? So centimeters cubed. And we're done. That one was a little bit more work because we had to find b, but it was basically the same structure. So we're going to do this one more time with a different shape. We've already done spheres and cylinders, so let's do a cone. The first step, what was that? We need to choose a formula, okay? So we have a picture of a cone. It's going to always tell you what the shape is. It's a shape of a cone. So we're looking for this formula right here. Alright, step 2. We need to find the values of these variables. So what variables do we have to find? We have to find b and we have to find h. Okay, so just like before, what does b represent? B is the area of the base. So you should go ahead and try to find this on your own. Okay, so let's see. It's the same formula as before. We're trying to find the area of a circle. So that's pi r squared. And r, let's see, r is not 5, that's the diameter. R is halfway. And this time we get a decimal, but it's not the end of the world, it's going to be okay. R is 2.5. So we're going to replace that for r. Don't forget to square it. And did you get roughly 20? If you round, you should get about 20. Okay, and h. What does h represent? H is the height. So that one, there's no work. H is just 6. We're done with step 2. Time for step 3, the last step. What do? Well, we have all our pieces. We just need to put the pieces into the formula. We need to plug in the variables. So our volume, this time we have a 1/3. And we need to put b. We need to multiply by b. B is 20. And then multiply by h. H is 6. So go ahead and put this in your calculator. What did you get? You should get about 40. Oh wait, no, exactly 40. Haha. Okay. What am I missing? Inches cubed. Well, that's it. We did it. We did 3 problems, and we did all of them with the same 3 steps. So anytime you're trying to find volume of a cylinder, of a sphere, or a cone, those 3 steps will work. Alright, so just to review, what was step 1? Choose a formula. What was step 2? Find the letters that you need to plug in to that formula. Step 3, plug them in, and you're done. Alright, good luck on your practice problems. See you next time.